Hi, it's Liliana and this is Lil's Paper World. I am going to try to do this quickly because at any point my brother or sister could come down being really loud, or my mom and stepdad could get home, or my boyfriend will be done work in like 15 minutes, so you know, life of Liliana. What I'm going to be doing today is book series that I need to read, sometimes more specifically an author or a genre kind of, but like I kind of mostly narrowed it down to series that I need to read. So for example though, if I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, I'm not going to mention A Court of Mist and Fury because it's really only one book, it's not like a series I need to read. So yeah, I won't mention those kinds, but I'll mention like specific series. Let's get started. I have a book that I wrote a list, and I have a few books in front of me, and if I don't have the book, I'll probably put pictures somewhere. So the first series that I need to read is Throne of Glass, and I just got this book like 2 days ago, and I am 50 pages in, or yeah, I think it's 50. Either way, I like it a lot so far. I've realized that Sarah J. Maas's writing is just, it clicks with me, like I can just get into the book really easily. But yeah, I only have the first one, so I really need to read the rest of the series. I feel like a lot of people like this series and read them, and yeah, I don't know what to say because I just want to read it. So the next series that I really want to read is the Mortal Instruments series, and like all of the Shadowhunter books pretty much, because everyone in the world talks about them, but I feel like I'll actually really like them. So yeah, I really want to read. Obviously I need to start with City of Bones and just read the Mortal Instruments. She just came downstairs. I don't know, maybe just ignore her if like you can hear her in the background. I want to read the Mortal Instruments series, and then I want to get to obviously like Infernal Devices and whatever the other one is. I want to read those, okay? Okay, so the next series I'm probably gonna get like slaughtered for at some point. I need to read Harry Potter. I really want to read them. When I started out reading when I was younger, I never read them. If anything, I read like Geronimo Stilton. I didn't read Harry Potter. So I really have to read Harry Potter. Is there any chance that you could be quieter? Just because I really wanted to film one video today. Oh. Thank you. So awkward! So the next series I want to read is Truth Witch. I have the first one, and then obviously Wind Witch came out, and the third one is already like, its name is announced and everything. I don't think there's a cover, but it's called Blood Witch. And so yeah, I tried to pick this up once and I just like wasn't in the mood, I guess. So I really want to read Truth Witch and get on with the series or trilogy or whatever it is. The next series I want to read is To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I just read this one recently, but I know that there's a second one called P.S. I Love You, and there's a third one coming out as well, or maybe it is out already, but it was like really recent. So yeah, I have this one, I've read it, and I want to read the next two because it was just really cute and fun. And like right after I finished it, a bunch of people talked about it and how like both of the books are really cute, or all three, or whatever. So I want to read that one. But going kind of along, I guess, now with like romance or cutesy or whatever, I want to finish the Seabreeze series, which there's a lot, but like this is the fourth one, I believe. And I think there's like 9, something like that. So I want to finish the Seabreeze series, and then I would want to read the Rosemary Beach series as well by Abby Glines. So yeah, I want to read Abby Glines books. I need to stop making like chipmunk noises. And if like when I'm editing, I notice this, if it like suddenly sounds like in the background, it's because the heat likes to turn on inconveniently during my video. So building problems. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to mention is I want to read graphic novels. I want to get into a few different series or whatever, because a lot of people talk about certain ones and I want to read them. For example, Saga, a lot of people talk about, and I saw it in my bookstore and everything, and it looked cool, so I think probably at some point I'll read that. Then there were 2 like kind of like women empowering graphic novels type of thing that I heard of, which is like Lumberjanes, where it's all like just a girl squad, and someone mentioned one called Bitch Planet, so I want to read that one as well because it sounds pretty cool. But yeah, so basically in general I want to read graphic novels because I've not really read them before. So the next series I want to read is the Shades of Magic, I believe it's called. But yeah, the first one's the Darker Shade of Magic. I just got this off Book Depository, and I really want to start this series or trilogy, or I never know how many there are, but I feel like it's a trilogy. I really want to read this one because A Conjuring of Light just came out, which is the third one, so I want to read this one that I own and then hopefully get the second and third and read those soon. So yeah, I want to read this one. I haven't been mentioning the authors, but what you gonna do? I'm not very good at booktube yet. So the next, I'm gonna mention more of a, it's not really a genre at all because no one would consider this a genre. Basically, I want to read those books that everyone says are trash, but you love them. Like, they're kind of, not that good, or, there's nothing super, intriguing about them, or I don't know how to describe it, but, they're usually has romance, or they're, paranormal or something. So I want to read those types of books. And, for example, Lux series, I want to read those. Vampire Academy, I want to read those because recently a lot of people have mentioned it. And I want to read, the Selection series. A lot of people say that's kind of trash, but it's you binge read it. I haven't heard as much about this, but I want to read the Paper Princess trilogy because I think I would like it. So yeah, those are kind of the four trash but I want to read them books. So yes. So another genre that I want to read more is poetry. I read a lot of poetry just online in general. I follow Instagrams and Tumblr and all those types of things, and I've read Milk and Honey, but I want to read more of just other poetry books. I want to read, there's one called Whiskey, Words, and a Shovel, I think, by R.H. Sin. There's one that's called I Wrote This For You, I think, and it's a photo goes with each poem. I like photography as well, so it looks really nice. But yeah, I want to read the one that has photos, poems, and it matches. There's one that's The Princess Saves Herself in this one. I've heard of that. I forget the other one, but it has a tape on the front, and it's a bunch of poetry, and then at the end it's blackout poetry. You might know what I'm talking about, but I want to read that one pretty badly as well. Another genre is maybe more classics. I kind of want to read a few more. I read To Kill a Mockingbird in grade 9. I wouldn't even mind rereading that since I was only 14 when I read it. I want to read Jane Eyre. A lot of people talk about that one. And yeah, I just want to read probably a few more classics. Ones that actually interest me, not just any classics. So yeah. Okay, so to talk about some more authors, so I want to read more Christina Lauren, and I want to read some by Kristen Becker Ritchie because I follow a few booktubers that really kind of new adult books, and they always talk about those or recommend them, so those are authors that I want to read. I guess that's technically 4 authors. The next series that I actually want to read is A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. I have a little mini bind up of the first 3, which is The Bad Beginning, The Reptile Room, and The Wide Window, and I've had this forever. I think someone just gave it to me, it's kind of a hand-me-down book, and I've already watched the show, but I liked it, so now I want to read it since I've had it for so long. So yeah, I want to read the first 3, and then obviously the rest of A Series of Unfortunate Events. I'll give I guess honorable mentions. I won't talk too much about them, but they're popular series that I just want to read. And so one of them is Raven Boys. Yeah, so the Raven Cycle. I want to read the Lunar Chronicles because I haven't read that. I want to read the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. I don't know if that has a different name, but I want to read Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I'm trying to think of more, but those are a few popular ones that I want to read. Another one though, high fantasy, I want to read Mistborn because I'm liking fantasy, but I've never read, I don't think I've ever read, a really high fantasy one, which people have called Mistborn really high fantasy, and, The Name of the Wind I want to read too. And so, yes. I think the last author I'm going to talk about is Ellen Hopkins. I've read at least 2 of her books. I don't know if I've read more. I think 2. Tricks and Crank. And I love those. They inspired me to write my own poetry one time when I went, camping and stuff, and I read Crank. And I just really liked them. Yeah, I want to read more Ellen Hopkins. She has a new one out, and I want to read that. Maybe I've just gotten them from the library so far, so maybe I'll find them for cheaper, but I'll probably just get them from the library. There's one more I forgot. I want to read the Grisha trilogy, or like, I guess technically Six of Crows is in that world as well. So I want to read the Grisha books. I want to read Shadow and Bone and like the rest of that, and then I want to read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I think that's all for the series I really need to read, and I will probably come out with a books I need to read soon. Like, I'll film just specific books on my shelf and a few books that I don't own that I really want to read or need to read because everyone is talking about them. And that is all. I hope you enjoyed, and give me some recommendations if you wish. I clearly have a pretty big TBR in my mind. Like, it's not, I don't own them all, but in my mind I got a lot of books I need to read. So, bye. LOL. Boo, 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 y'all. Lit. Oh my goodness gracious. They like inspired me to write like my own pirate. Same. Thanks for sticking it out. That's so gross.